to disregard it. According to the Commission, an official statement on the next phase of the recruitment process will be released in due course.
A productive economy remains the foundation for improved living standards, as sustainable growth depends largely on increased production, investments, and a resilient domestic economy. This was the submission of an economist, Dr. Adekunle Onile, and a public affairs analyst, Bright Richard, while discussing the topic, quote, IMF warning, rising cost of living and poverty level, end quote, on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM 120. BCOS reporter, Fedora Afolagwe, monitored the program.
The recent warning by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, over Nigeria's rising cost of living and increasing poverty has renewed concerns about the nation's economic outlook. With inflation remaining high and purchasing power declining, many households continue to grapple with worsening economic conditions, prompting renewed calls for practical measures to cushion the hardship. Breakfast program AM 120, economist Dr. Adekunle Onile described Nigeria as a largely consumption-driven economy, noting that excessive dependence on imported goods has continued to slow economic growth and development. He stressed that sustainable economic progress requires greater productivity and active citizen participation, urging Nigerians to embrace innovation, entrepreneurship, and other legitimate income-generating ventures that will contribute to national economic growth.
Which is so what the IMF is saying is not a contradiction, and it's not a mistalk or a misdive. It is essentially what most developing nations or developing economy face two different scenarios. And in the case of Nigeria, where we have ongoing reforms, you don't expect instant magic. Some changes, some gains will not be too obvious. Some gains will take time. In fact, most gains will take time. Only few will be spontaneous.
Also speaking on the program, public affairs analyst Bright Richard observed that many Nigerians are finding it increasingly difficult to meet their basic needs as the rising cost of living continues to outpace household incomes. He maintained that the removal of fuel subsidy has yet to produce the expected economic benefits for ordinary Nigerians, arguing that the policy has not sufficiently addressed the prevailing economic challenges.
Why I said almost everybody in Nigeria is poor is this: how much will it cost you to get a simple meal, not less than 1,000 naira? NBS came up with a statistics that about 1,500. Let's give it to them. Let's pick 1,000 naira. And if it will cost you 1,000 naira for a meal, averagely you should take 3 square meals per day. Let's take one out. Let's leave it at 2. So in a day you are spending 2,000 naira for meal. Multiply that 2,000 naira by 30 days. That's 60,000 naira. How many Nigerians are earning above 60,000 naira? How much is the minimum wage?
The guests jointly called on government at all levels to give greater priority to agriculture and food production, stressing that improved food security remains critical to reducing poverty, lowering food prices, and achieving sustainable national development. Fedora Afolagwe, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, Ibadan. The Oluyole State Head of Service, Dr. Adenike Fashino, has reaffirmed the state government's commitment to addressing the workforce and operational challenges facing the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, BCOS. Dr. Fashino gave the assurance while receiving the chairman of the BCOS, Chief Dotun Oluyole, alongside members of the corporation's management team during a congratulatory and familiarization visit to her office. Governor's office correspondent Olalekan Sulaiman brings details of the visit.
The chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oluyole State, Chief Dotun Oluyole, on Friday led members of the corporation's management team on a congratulatory and familiarization visit to the newly appointed Oyo State Head of Service, Dr. Adenike Fashino. Welcoming the delegation, Dr. Fashino appreciated the visit and acknowledged the numerous challenges confronting BCOS. She observed that the broadcasting industry has become increasingly competitive with the emergence of many private radio stations and television stations. Responding to concern raised by the BCOS chairman over manpower shortages, the head of service noted that the state government was aware that the corporation had been relying heavily on contract and freelance staff to sustain its operations. She stressed the need to strengthen the workforce to ensure continuity in leadership and improved service delivery, assuring the management that the request for staff recruitment will receive due consideration whenever recruitment approval is granted by the state government.
We salute your courage because you keep moving on. We also noted some of the challenges, the one that you have just mentioned. We are aware that you have been using ad hoc staff, freelance. Whenever opportunity presents itself, we will not mind to mention it because there should be succession plan. A situation where you have a director level 16, level 17, and the next officer is level 8 or level 9, there is problem. The gap is so wide. And other challenges, we have seen some of your letters here.
Earlier, the chairman of BCOS, Chief Dr. Oluyole, congratulated Dr. Fashino on her appointment, describing it as well deserved. She said her outstanding record in the public service reflects competence, diligence, and unwavering commitment to duty.
It shows the confidence of His Excellency and the capability of women leadership in Oyo State, and we are appreciative to His Excellency. We thank him very much for the confidence reposed in the women folk to aid pivotal establishments in Oyo State.
Chief Oluyole also drew attention to the corporation's critical manpower needs, appealing to the head of service to facilitate the recruitment of additional staff and the conversion of qualified contract and freelance personnel to permanent appointment.
And again, to clamor for employment opportunity in BCOS so that we can fill some vacancies, due to retirement of senior staff recruited way back in the 90s, 91, 90, 92, thereabout. They have all, like 80% of them have retired presently. More are still going by the day, and it's movement from table A to table B in BCOS. So we want to appeal to government to give us the ability, to employ a few hands to fill in those so that we can move on, and there will be succession plan in BCOS.
Members of the delegation included the General Manager, Mrs. Taiwo Adebowale, Director of Commercial Services, Mr. Sunday Adekunjo, Director of News and Current Affairs, Mrs. Olubumi Oyedemi, Director of Programs, Mrs. Bumi Babanumi, Acting Director of Engineering Services, Engineer Munir Abdulaziz, Acting Director of Finance and Accounts, Mrs. Tokumbo Adebowale, Deputy Director of Administration and Supplies, Mr. Adewale Tijani, and Consultant, News and Current Affairs Department, Mrs. Lola Osani. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
The governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM, in Oyo State, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, has continued his familiarization and thank you tour with a visit to party faithful in Ibadan Northwest and Ibadan Southwest local government areas. The gathering provided party leaders and members another opportunity to reaffirm their commitment to unity and preparations for the 2027 general elections. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi brings the details.
Party faithful from Ibadan Northwest and Ibadan Southwest local government areas converged on a popular event center in Ibadan to receive the APM governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, as he continues his familiarization and thank you tour across Oyo State. Addressing the gathering, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi expressed appreciation to party leaders and members for their confidence in his candidacy and those of other contestants on the APM platform. He pledged to uphold party supremacy, ensure party leaders and faithful remain relevant in governance, and appealed to all stakeholders to work together in harmony, stressing that every member's contribution will be crucial to the party's success.
Our own message to the people is a message of continuity, consolidation, competence, and we are doing that on the platform of a coalition, as you know. Our message is that we are a party that brings unity. So everybody, the best brains, the best ideas, the best values, we want to work together with them, irrespective of party. We are a coalition already, so we welcome more people. We can say that we are not a party of disunity. You don't give respect to other people's voices and opinions and values.
The Oyo State chairman of the APM, Otumba Adegbenro Fagbemi, in his address urged members to remain united, saying everyone has a vital role to play in the growth and electoral success of the party. He warned against actions capable of causing disunity among stakeholders. Also speaking, chairman of the Oyo APM PDP Alliance, Honorable Dayo Ogunbenro, called for reconciliation among aggrieved members, noting that resolving internal differences will strengthen the party's chances in the 2027 elections. The two leaders publicly presented and raised the hands of Honorable Bimbo Adekombi and Engineer Muftau Opunsalau as the party's governorship candidate and running mate. In separate goodwill messages, party leaders including Chief Nureni Akonbi, Dr. Remi Ayodele and Magaji Tajuddin Abbas Aleshinloye pledged their commitment to mobilizing support for the victory of APM candidates in future elections. They also urged the candidates to remain faithful to the interests and welfare of party members if elected into office. Other contestants, including Dr. Akefagbemi, who is the party candidate for Ibadan Northwest Southwest Federal Constituency, and Honorable Dikrulai Olajide, who is contesting the Oyo South senatorial seat, assured members of their readiness to serve both the party and the people if given the mandate, while seeking the continued support and cooperation of party faithful. The familiarization and thank you tour by the Oyo State APM governorship candidate Honorable Bimbo Adekombi and his entourage to grassroots party faithful across the state continues next week. Adebayo Abdurrafi, BCOS News.
The Oyo State Police Command has rescued a couple who were abducted by suspected kidnappers at Siro village in Irawo, Okyogu area of the state. The victims, Alhaji Busiru Buni and his wife Alhaja Pitiku, were reportedly kidnapped on Saturday, the 5th of July 2026, when about 5 armed men invaded their community, fired gunshots into the air, and whisked them away. According to the police public relations officer, DSP Oluyole Olayinka, the Commissioner of Police, CP Abimbola Olugbenga, immediately ordered a joint search and rescue operation involving police operatives, the Amotekun Corps, local vigilantes, and hunters. During the operation, done together with the use of technology, security personnel recovered a stolen motorcycle abandoned in a nearby bush, leading operatives to the kidnappers' hideout. On sighting the security team, the suspects opened fire, leading to a gun battle. The kidnappers, however, escaped into the forest with suspected gunshot wounds, abandoning the victims, who were rescued unarmed.
New York State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected ritualists over the unlawful possession of an item believed to be a human skull in Ejio. According to a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Oluyole Olayinka, the arrest followed a coordinated intelligence-led operation carried out by operatives of the Police Command in collaboration with the Amotekun Corps, acting on the directive of the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Abimbola Olugbenga. Security operatives arrested one Shitu Isa of Kajala area, Ijio, and recovered the suspected human skull, which has been taken into police custody as evidence. During interrogation, the suspect reportedly confessed to execute suspected from a Muslim burial ground and admitted that he acted with another person, leading to the arrest of Tunji Ajibade, who is currently assisting investigators. The police says the recovered exhibit has been preserved for forensic examination to determine its nature, while investigations continue to establish the motive behind the act and identified any other person connected with the crime.
The Oluyole residence of Chief Benedict Akika hosted political stakeholders, traditional chiefs, and dignitaries who honored him on his birthday. The birthday celebration was a demonstration of the love shown to Chief Akika, especially for his philanthropist gesture. The birthday celebration of Chief Akika, who is one of the allies of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, attracted political stakeholders, including the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musiba Babatunde, Personal Assistant to the Governor, Alhaji Aziz Hakim, Chairman of Agbeda Local Government, Honorable Sikiru Sanda, and former Commissioner for Works in the state, Professor Raphael Afonja, among others. The Chairman, BCOS, Chief Mrs. Dotun Olaito, coordinated the cutting of the birthday cake. The celebrant, Chief Akika, appreciated everyone, especially Governor Seyi Makinde, Otumba Sheye Famujuro, and other well-wishers for their support.
On the foreign scene, a military court has placed Guinea-Bissau opposition leader Domingos Pereira in prison today as he faces accusations of having tried to overturn the previous government. According to a security source, Pereira, leader of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, PAIGC, was detained when the army overthrew President Umaru Embalo on the 26th of November 2025. However, he was released in January and had been living under house arrest in Bissau since then. Pereira is accused of involvement in an attempted October 2025 coup, which he is alleged to have helped finance, in addition to separate financial crimes and involvement in a 2023 coup attempt, all under Embalo before his November ousting. After arriving for an appearance in military court mid-morning Friday, he was immediately taken under heavy escort to the capital Segunda Escuadra prison.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the top stories. The The federal government has evacuated 39 more Nigerians from Johannesburg